Blazing the way into the far turn, and he's doing it easily. Noble Reflection cruising along around that turn. Chasing Money, Burning Turf, see through it along the inside. Turn on the Jets just behind that trio, 3 off the lead. What Makes Sammy Run and Earl's Rock. Noble Reflection passes the quarter pole in command, has it now by 3 lengths. See Through It takes up the chase in second, trying to close the gap. From the back of the field, Earl's Rock is picking up some momentum. Turn on the Jets is down at the rail. Suddenly, Noble Reflection is under siege, trying to find the wire, but he digs in, and Noble Reflection guts it out. See Through It, Earl's Rock, and then a photo turn on the Jets and What Makes Sammy Run. Hitting on American Theorem and Kid Corleone. And they're off. Kid Corleone on the extreme outside. Disco Ball, Escape Route is down at the rail in third. American Theorem fourth, 3 lengths off the lead. And Cyber Viking is at the back. Kid Corleone makes it over to the rail with a half-mile to travel. Has it by 3/4 of a length to Escape Route in second. And Disco Ball is just outside of that pair. Cyber Viking is down on the rail, just 2 off the lead. And American Theorem. 3/8 to go. Kid Corleone, Escape Route, and Disco Ball. Noses apart. American Theorem will have to go 4 wide, 2 lengths off the leaders. And then Cyber Viking, they turn for home. Kid Corleone at the rail. Escape Route now a neck back second. And outside of them, Disco Ball. American Theorem still has 4 to find in the final furlong, and Kid Corleone digs in. Escape Route a length and a half back in second. It's going to be Kid Corleone. Kid Corleone pulling away in the end to score by 2. Escape Route, Disco Ball, and then it was Cyber Viking. As we prepare for today's Rainbow Six, by side to the outside. We're in the gate. And they're off. Side by side, and Dancing Mo vying for the early lead. Here's Sweet Mother Mary now coming through along with Bella Baby, and these two go on. Bella Baby short lead, Sweet Mother Mary ahead back second. Then side by side, good tracking trip from third. Dancing Mo is fourth, 3 lengths off the lead. Little Town Sis and Magazine is 8 off the pacemaker. It's Bella Baby into the far turn. Sweet Mother Mary 3/4 back in second. Dancing Mo along the rail, inching closer. And then comes side by side fourth, but just 2 off the lead. Little Town Sis is next, and another 3 to Magazine. They have a 1/4 mile to run. Bella Baby narrowly as the field turns for home. A 4 wide bid from side by side. Dancing Mo running a good race in second. Little Town Sis just behind Sweet Mother Mary. Inside the 8th pole, Bella Baby clinging to the lead. On the outside, Dancing Mo is now getting a little bit closer. Bella Baby or Dancing Mo? Bella Baby holds on. Dancing Mo, game and just missed. Sweet Mother Mary was third. Our 5th race named Welcome, FanDuel Racing. Up next, the 6, scratch 1 Warrior's Moon and 6 True Patriot. Late pick 5 kicks off in 22. She's misbehaving. And they're off. Timely Luck is out alertly. So is She's a Joker on the outside. Ghostum splits them and up to take the lead. So Ghostum now sprints clear of Harper's Gallop taking second. Timely Luck along the rail third, and She's a Joker 4 lengths off the lead. Then it's Sensible Move, 2 lengths in front of Court Snort, and She's Misbehaving at the back of the field. They move on to the backstretch behind Ghostum, who leads by a length and a half. Harper's Gallop second by 3. Then it's Timely Luck in third. Sensible Move on the inside of She's a Joker. 3 lengths back to Court Snort, and another 4 to She's Misbehaving. They're coming to the half-mile pole, and it's Ghostum leading the way by a length. Harper's Gallop keeps her honest in second. 2 more Sensible Move and Timely Luck right together third and fourth. Now it's a gap of 3 back to She's a Joker. Court Snort second to last. She's Misbehaving has trailed throughout. Rounding the turn, it's Ghostum and Harper's Gallop. Harper's Gallop takes a narrow lead. Sensible Move and Timely Luck still right together. Behind them, She's a Joker getting closer, swings to the outside in the pink silks, a furlong out. The leader is Harper's Gallop. Now Sensible Move is into second, and She's a Joker continues to make headway on the outside. Past the 16th pole, Harper's Gallop a length to Sensible Move. Harper's Gallop, Sensible Move. Harper's Gallop holds on. Sensible Move was second. She's a Joker third. Then Court Snort and Ghostum. Goes in. They're in the gate. And they're off. Even start. Diamonds Dancing gets the first call, joined by Copper Bow 10. And on the outside, Big Pond, flashing sharp early speed too. Then it's Bold Choice, a close-up fourth as they run past the 5/8 pole. 2 more lengths to Strange Addiction, racing on the inside of Fly Me to the Moon Baby, and Rider's Candy inside of that pair, 4 lengths off the lead. Another 2 back to Just Is, who's followed on the outside by Work and Flirt. At the rails, See Her Beauty is next, and the distant trailer, The Music We Make. They're coming to the quarter pole. Diamonds Dancing and Big Pond right up alongside in second. Big Pond traveling sweetly up to take the lead. Strange Addiction, hard-ridden, but making headway on the outside, top of the stretch. And Big Pond on the outside, just in front of Diamonds Dancing, who's a tough customer second. 4 more to Strange Addiction and Bold Choice, a 16th to go. And now Big Pond puts them away and sprints for the wire. Good-looking debut for Big Pond, scoring by 2.5. Diamonds Dancing second. Strange Addiction on the outside of Bold Choice. Then See Her Beauty, who was far back, completing the super high 5. Waiting on Travel Smart. And they're off. Catarini is going out for the early lead. Anaglasa is up close in the early stages. Cornelia Fort, and they're joined and passed by Travel Smart. Then Dolly May, followed by Point and Shoot, who had the very slightest of hops in the air. And at the back of the field, Slam Diego. Slam Diego just passed a couple of rivals. Catarini is the pace setter. Anaglasa prompting in second. Travel Smart joint third. Cornelia Fort is down at the rail. Then Slam Diego, Point and Shoot in between rivals. And Dolly May is outside of that pair. Only about 4 lengths covers the entire group. It is Catarini. Catarini with less than a half mile to go. 3/4 of a length to Anaglasa's second. Travel Smart in the clear. Cornelia Fort continues to hug the rail. They are followed a length and a half back by Slam Diego, who's about 4 lengths off the lead. Point and Shoot dropping back. Dolly May outside of that pair. Catarini tries to shake loose. A length and a half. Cornelia Fort has had a very good trip in second. Now clearly in that spot, another 2 back to Slam Diego, a furlong out. Catarini, Cornelia Fort chasing gamely, as is Slam Diego. It is Catarini who keeps on going at the 16th pole. 2-length edge, Cornelia Fort, Slam Diego. Here's Cornelia Fort with a final surge to get up. Catarini, Slam Diego third, then Anaglasa and Travel Smart. Goes in this time. Waiting on Pleasant. In the gate. And they're off. Clearly Unhinged is going out to battle for the lead. Pleasant has sharp speed too, and in between them, Dazzling Dominica up close. They're followed by our Swervin' Gervin. Home Cooking is tugging her way through along the inside, and Delightful Heart is at the back of the field. It's clearly Unhinged at the rail, narrowly in front of Pleasant, who's just a head back second. Home Cooking in pretty tight down on the inside, and our Swervin' Gervin moves up 1 from the rail. Dazzling Dominica in the purple is in fourth, as Pleasant is now cut loose, and Pleasant takes command. Clearly Unhinged trying to keep pace, just a head back second. A gap of 5 suddenly to our Swervin' Gervin. On the inside, Home Cooking, Delightful Heart. Our Swervin' Gervin now dropping back to last with Dazzling Dominica. Match race top of the stretch. Pleasant and clearly Unhinged, not done, fighting on gamely. Pleasant just in front. Clearly Unhinged down on the inside there, nose to nose with a furlong left to go. Clearly Unhinged or Pleasant. Pleasant, Clearly Unhinged, inseparable. Clearly Unhinged is so tough. Pleasant going with her on the outside. Here's the line. Clearly Unhinged. Boy, did she earn that W. Pleasant was second. Delightful Heart third, then Home Cooking. Dan to the outside. They are in the gate. And they're off. Tom and Jazzy began well. On the inside, Relaxed Artist is up close. Trusty Rusty in the lime. And here's Frost Alert sprinting up to take the lead in front of all of them. Tangled Up in Gray is close up, only about 3 lengths off the leaders. Then We Got Beer on Ice, followed by Fireman Dan, who's 8 lengths off the pacemaker. Ko Samui makes it over to the rail, racing 2 lengths clear of Mischievous Path. Brother Reed is second to last, and the trailer is Numero D's. Onto the backstretch, and it's Frost Alert, the leader by 2.5 lengths. At the rail, Trusty Rusty with Tom and Jazzy just outside of him. It's another 2.5 back to Relaxed Artist, racing on the inside of Tangled Up in Gray with less than a half mile to go. 3 lengths further back comes Fireman Dan in the blue colors, racing on the outside of We Got Beer on Ice. Then comes Ko Samui, who's trying to make a little bit of headway. Brother Reed is underway, orange and white, starting to pass horses, only 6 off the pace. At the back of the field, Mischievous Path and Numero D's still trails. They passed the quarter pole. Frost alert. Tom and Jazzy has been pursuing throughout. 4 lengths back. Brother Reed continues to make some headway. Koh Samui in a little bit of traffic. Numero D swings to the outside as Tom and Jazzy takes the lead coming to the 16th pole. Getting the best of Frost alert in the final stages. Brother Reed, mischievous path. It's Tom and Jazzy just in front. Tom and Jazzy barely. That got extremely close. Brother Reed was flying at him. Both Hernandez and Vasquez were looking for triples on the afternoon, and they're in a photo to close it out.
Summer doesn't officially start until this coming Wednesday, but I'll tell you what, today feels like a summer day here at the Great Race Place. Hi, everybody. My name is Tom Quigley, VIP player concierge, also your seminar host for the next 40 minutes. And have you looked at today's card? 12 races. It's almost unscrutable. Even if you had enough time, maybe our seminar guest can give you a couple extra nuggets. And if you didn't have enough time, he's one of the most respected clockers anywhere in North America. You'll definitely value his opinion. His name, Toby Terrell. Toby, happy Saturday. Welcome to the seminar.
Hey, great. It's 80 degrees here. 80.
8-0 before we even hit high noon. It's nice to see no clouds for a change. We've been stuck in May gray and June gloom, but today, like I said, fast and firm, perfect conditions for a great 12-race card. We're going to go through the entire 12-race card, Toby, but I wanted to ask you, summer is basically right around the corner. That means we're exiting spring, and of course, we're heading into the summer Triple Crown, so to speak. But the Triple Crown races that were run, the Derby, Preakness, and Belmont, I wanted to get your thoughts. Let's first start with the Kentucky Derby winner, Mage. Of course, won very impressively in the Kentucky Derby, maybe a bit of a questionable ride in the Preakness, but what do you think of Mage's long-term prospects?
I like them because he's a racehorse. What he did was no fluke. He's by good magic, who was my only future Kentucky Derby bet I ever made in my life. And just figures, that this would happen. And I'll tell you, all you needed to do was watch his race against Forte, and you easily make a case for him to win the race.
Certainly expectations are high for him going into the summer. Now, what about National Treasure from the Bob Baffert barn? He basically took them gate to wire in the Preakness. He actually ran pretty well in the Belmont, I thought, as well. Of course, that's a very taxing race. Has he been on the track here back in Southern California since the Belmont, Toby?
I have not. He's here. We know that. I haven't seen him yet, but he's, I'm sure, in no hurry, although there are big races coming up again. So he won't get much rest, but he came through finally.
And Johnny V in the saddle, of course. He and Bob Baffert team up. They're always a dangerous duo. And then lastly, of course, in the Belmont, the feel-good story with Jenna Antonucci. Arcangelo emerged victorious. Another lightly raced horse, won the Peter Pan, then went right into the Belmont Stakes. And in my opinion, ran extremely professional for a lightly raced horse.
Well, no question. I did tape work at Gulfstream for 1 month. And when my partner got called away, I quit. But I did it long enough to know that this horse, as a maiden, showed phenomenal promise. And just ironic that, again, never give up. They come through. Sometimes they win the Belmont. And what a great story that was for all the connections, obviously.
We're hosting the Breeders' Cup the first weekend in November, 139 days away from day number 1 of the Breeders' Cup. Of those 3 colts we just spoke about, who do you expect maybe to rise to the top, maybe even be in the Breeders' Cup Classic race, perhaps?
I would have to watch them physically from here. I'd just be guessing, honestly, at this point. I'd have to watch them, see how they progress, see who moves forward physically. I mean, that'll be the bottom line.
Let's actually expand upon that a little bit, Toby, because you make a very good point. You wanted to see kind of how they mature both mentally and physically. If all 3 were training here in Southern California, which they are not, of course, what would be things that you're looking for? Maybe like long, easy gallops, on the bid in terms of being in their workouts, outworking workmates. Just what would be some things that either you would be looking for or that you've seen in the past with other Triple Crown winners based here in Southern California?
Well, they may not be training here, but I did make a point that I thought was interesting. All 3 winners came through First Bet. So hats off to Santa Anita and their sister track. I figured that much out. Odds are good for the future. I'll get to see them all train. But no, you're just looking for their overall presence. That first and foremost will tell the story. If a horse looks a certain way, galloping, relaxed, composed, has that healthy color to them, healthy presence, odds are they're going to work well. So it's just a presence you're looking for.
Toby, we're obviously looking at some 2-year-olds debuting, including in our 2 stakes races today. Just generally speaking, last time you were on, you very prolifically stated that Steve Knapp had a lot of precocious 2-year-olds. What barns maybe haven't debuted their 2-year-olds yet that you're looking forward to see either crosstown at Los Alamitos or down at Del Mar?
Michael McCarthy has a very promising horse. I'm excited watching at this point. Bob Baffert just starting to bring him forward as he usually waits until about now. Doug O'Neill, he's got a bunch that'll all be working tomorrow. He works them on one day. I see a lot of people that have, I think, hopefully big plans for the summer. So it's going to be exciting.
Your first reply was Michael McCarthy, so I would be negligent in not asking you, what is the name of that horse that you're most excited to see from the Michael McCarthy barn?
It's Disposition.
Disposition. Do you know the breeding by chance?
I actually did look up the breeding, and right now it's not coming to me, but I was happy with it.
One other question for you, Toby. I've got you on the hot seat here. We're shifting circuits, of course, from here first to Los Alamitos starting next Friday, and then, of course, Del Mar on Friday, July 21st for the long summer meet. Is there a big change in track composition between Santa Anita or Del Mar, or has that kind of been evened out over the years in respect to horse safety?
I think it's been evened out, and you bring up a great point right there. And this right here is today's official program. The very back page has all the people that work on the racing program from head to toe. I will tell you that the job that the crew here has done on this main track is second to none, and that goes, I've been here every day. And for the races, obviously most important, but the workouts for the track in the morning, it's just been a gem of consistency. Robert Moore, Dennis Moore, and Jesse Martinez deserve all the credit in the world. Believe me, for people that love this sport, to see a racetrack taken care of like this is just phenomenal. And also a big hats off, congratulations to Jason Egan and all the people in the racing office. As you well know, Tom, he stepped in a hornet's nest here through all the rain and everything else and did a spectacular job. His Zach Soto, James Kasparov, and the always smiling Amy Atkinson, they deserve a lot of credit too.
You make a very good point, Toby. I'll trump your comment towards me and I'll come back to you. And that is that the racing office really stepped into a difficult position, as you mentioned. And more importantly, if you were to look at the metrics, the average field sizes as we wind down the meet has actually increased this year compared to last year. That's difficult to do given the weather conditions that we had. And I think it's a testimony to the entire racing office led by Jason. Proof in the pudding is the cards both today and tomorrow.
Well, not only that, but, as somebody who tries to attack every minute counts, the entries have come up consistently early every day. He never missed.
And also you talked about the the racetrack management crew led by Dennis Moore and his crew. You're here early in the morning before the sun rises. I'm here late at night after the sun goes down. And without question, maintaining the main track is almost a 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week job. His entire crew doesn't miss a beat. And more importantly, it's been pristine in terms of horse safety, both for the equine and for the jockeys and the exercise riders.
Yeah, and I think consistent. I mean, I guess consistent means it's just a great. When you have a consistent track, to me, you have a very strong track. And, again, the impressions in the morning when I just don't have to even think about the fact that the track has not changed. It's what you see is what you get. It's such a luxury.
If you looked up the word consistency in Webster's dictionary, you might find a picture of Toby Terrell. As you heard him say, he's here every single racing day. He's got his pulse on the finger of racing. We're going to find out who he likes on today's expansive and extensive 12-race card. But before we do any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Miramati and get the scratches on today's card here at the Great Race Place.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. The track is fast and the turf is firm, the rail on the turf out 10 feet. Here are the early changes. In the first race, start of the 50-cent early pick 5, please take note of a super high 5 carryover from yesterday of $7,536. You can't possibly get a better wagering opportunity with a 7-horse field and a carryover in the super high 5. Race 2, no changes. Turning to the third, the Fasig-Tipton debutante, no changes. In the fourth, just a one blinker note. Fifth race, scratch number 5, deservedly. Overweights 3 plus 3, 6 plus 4. A revised morning line is posted for race 5. In the 6th, scratch number 3, viewer's discretion. The 6th race starts a middle pick 4 today. We've had some enormous payouts in these middle pick 4s. Middle pick 4 starts with race 6. 5 LT's choice, 2 pounds over. The 7th is the Fasig-Tipton Futurity. Scratch number 1, Harry Houdini. 7th race is the start of the Rainbow 6. There is a jackpot carryover today of $235,000 for a single ticket winner. However, today, if there is a single ticket winner, Santa Anita Park guarantees that payout at $1 million, regardless of pool size. Number 5, next level, 1 pound over. 8th is the start of the late pick 5, no changes. In the 9th, number 10, Granny Zipa, 2 pounds over. In the 10th, scratch 4, Leia's Candy. In the 11th, scratch 1, Keychain Girl. And 5, Anybody's Choice. 1 and 5 out of the 11th. And there are no changes in race 12. Tomorrow is closing day, Father's Day here at Santa Anita Park. Mandatory payouts in all pools tomorrow. We also have a special Father's Day barbecue package and a Drams for Dad spirit tasting package. For more information, go to santanita.com. Have a great day. Post time for the first is at 1 p.m. and 57 minutes. Let's go back to Quigley's Corner. Tom's special guest is Toby Terrell.
Welcome back. We're talking horse with Toby Terrell. He's a prominent clocker here in Southern California, one of the most esteemed clockers anywhere in North America. You can find his work on a daily basis at CaseTheRace.com. That's where you'll find his selection sheet on a daily basis. And of course, here in Southern California, you can find it at any OTB or racetrack outlet. Just go up to the stand and ask for the yellow sheet or the winner's card. You've been doing this a long time, Toby. How many years have you been publishing the yellow sheet?
31.
Oh my God, you're not that old. You started publishing when you were 2 or 3.
My oldest child is 31.
Wow,
By the way, happy Father's Day. That's a beautiful lead into Father's Day. And happy Father's Day to all the fathers. By the way, take your dads to the Front Runner restaurant for the brunch.
You won't be disappointed, right?
You'll get the best of the best. And believe me when I tell you, you won't find better people in hospitality anywhere. I love everybody up there.
Every day should be Father's Day and Mother's Day, let's face it. But tomorrow should be a fun day here. Keep in mind, tomorrow, noon post. That's right, noon Pacific time, early post tomorrow. And of course, we've got another outstanding 12 race card. All right, Toby, let's kick things off here coming down the Hillside Turf Course. We begin and end the card with Hillside Turf Races. 6.5 furlongs coming down the hill. The rails today are at 10 feet. We've got a 50-cent early pick 5 starting in race number 1. We've also got a $7,000 super high 5 carryover. That's because nobody hit it in yesterday's nightcap. And race number 1 is for 3-year-olds. It's an allowance optional claiming race, non-winners of 1 other than. Mark Glatt has 3 in the race. The original morning line favorite was number 7, Horace Mann. But Mark Glatt currently saddles the current choice on the tote board. That would be number 3, Agency, returning off a layoff, 5-2 up on the board. Really good race to kick things off here, Toby.
Yeah, I believe there's a lot of speed in this race, and I think Agency will be the horse to come pick them up. They're trying Turf today. Ironically enough, I think Turf is probably what this colt wants. His mom was a Turf horse, and I think he'll sit and pounce with the Lasix added. Look who he ran against Cave Rock, having a meltdown, and Skinner. What a trio that is to run against. So Agency and his other horse, Irish Royalty, who ran a very nice race when put on turf last time out.
3-4 in race number 1. Let's take a look at race number 2, which begins the 50-cent early pick 4. We're on the main track, 7 furlongs in the distance for fillies and mares, $16,000 claiming tag, non-winners of 2 races lifetime. Morning line favorite number 3, Run for My Honey, Kent DeSorma in the saddle. He had a fantastic weekend last weekend, Toby. I believe 6 winners, 3 on Saturday, 3 on Sunday. Good to see him back on the beam.
It is very, very much so. We mentioned that actually when he, right at the baby stages of his comeback, talking about how great it was to see him try to make a resilient comeback, and he has. And this horse here, I believe the cutback will be the key for Run for My Honey. She is a densely made, shorter-legged horse with some speed, and that spells 7 furlongs. I think that's why she's the favorite. Aggie Ordonez, a very productive meet. 1 was Squared Shady. Kent was aboard that one, too. Love You Mean It is dropping here quite a bit, so that'll be the second choice.
Love You Mean It, partly owned by John Maroney, who was my seminar guest yesterday. Terry Levenger also had a very good day yesterday, and look who trains for them, Steve Knapp. Certainly a lot more seconds and thirds, frustrating meet, but nevertheless, all the Steve Knapp horses are firing. Race number 3 is the first of 2 stakes races on today's card. They're both for 2-year-olds. Race 3 is for the 2-year-old fillies. This is the Fasig-Tipton debutante, $100,000 guaranteed, sprinting 5 furlongs on the main track. Field of 5. Looks like it's a showdown between number 1, Becky's Dream, who's even money on the morning line, and number 4, Crazy Hot, who's 4-5, according to John White. Both emerged victorious, both won by kind of open lengths. It's interesting to see who might win this matchup. Who do you like and why, Toby?
Well, because you asked me about Steve Knapp, he was not the 2-year-old, whatever word you used earlier. It was Jeff Bondy in a landslide.
It sure was.
Oh, yeah. He won with...
he's got 3 of them in his holster.
Fly a Fantasy... was the first race of the meet, I believe, and then Shady Appeal, and now this filly who just was scintillating with that turn of speed. Let's hope she's got it again today. She's got to go a little further, and that's why I think number 3 might be an upsetter, Grand Slam Smile. You watch her race up north. She was head and head on the lead, but she drew away. Like the distance won't be a problem. Loved the 5 furlong workout since the race. She could be a live long shot, but let's hope that speed carries crazy hot speed.
And Grand Slam Smile, the number 3 filly you mentioned, Toby. Take a look who comes down to ride from Northern California, Frankie Alvarado. And you mentioned Grand Slam Smile drawing off. Also, if you have the racing form in front of you, you can see the second and third place finishers' names are italicized. That means they came back to win. Grand Slam Smile is certainly an attractive alternative from a betting standpoint if you don't like the two Southern California-based fillies. Race number 4, we're back on the turf course. This time 1 mile is the distance. It's for fillies and mares. It's a starter optional claiming race. We've got a field of 6. Morning line favorite number 3, Freedom Last from the Phil D'Amato barn. An Illinois bred returning off a December layoff. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Toby, let's take a look at a workout for number 3, Freedom Last. This was back on June 11th. It was a bullet workout over the training track going 5 furlongs. Freedom Last is on the outside, and take a look at who her workmate is. None other than the graded stakes winner, Master of Foxhounds, who's got a lot of ability as well. You watch workouts for a living, Toby. I've seen this workout. The lack of movement by the exercise rider on Freedom Last, to me, is what's most impressive.
Yeah, I don't even need to show up here, do I? First of all, that's Kyle Fry in the saddle there. So that is a jockey on Freedom Last. And everything you just said is true and then some, because I did a double take. When I watched this horse finish this work with her neck arched, and then in racehorse time of 1 minute and a fifth, that's a fast time on the training track. You can see he's dead silent on this filly because I'll tell you what, she is a gem, and she has been running like this in the morning and afternoon for months and years. And just look at this breeze, saving the best for last. Coming into this race as good as you'd like to see.
Now, the question, particularly on closing weekend, Toby, and that is a fantastic work, is this a prep race for Del Mar? Perhaps. We've got a lot of layoff runners entering on closing weekend. And from a handicapping standpoint, that's the biggest question I have. You believe she's ready to fire off what we just saw?
Oh, no question about it. And just look at the horses she's run against. I circled them all. Macadamia ran third in the last race. She's a grade 1 winner now. Quattroli was a stakes horse here at the meet. Eddie's New Dream and Needs Blanche, who will run tomorrow. They're all stake horses. I think she gets a good leg up today. I'm hoping so. And Shared Future, Steve Knapp's filly ran very good on the turf here last time out. She galloped out very well. She's got that sharp half mile out of the race. She'll be my second choice.
Race number 5, we're going 6.5 furlongs on the main track for starter optional claiming types. 1 scratch. Scratch the original morning line favorite. Number 5, Deservedly, will not compete. The revised morning line favorite now is number 2, Devil Be Me, who emerged victorious off a layoff last time out for trainer Phil D'Amato. Field of 7 here, Toby. Which way you going?
Well, that's the way I'm going, Devil Be Me. What a big, strong gelding he's developed into. Notice he's a 5-year-old, and hats off to the connections for letting him grow up, and grow up he has. He was a winner on the racetrack last time out from the minute he left the paddock. Beautiful, strong gelding here, and he's worked strong since the win. I love everything about him, except maybe the inside post. I'd rather he be outside, but you can't have it all. He'll be my top choice. And number 8, Quick Buck, makes the second race after an 8-month layoff, gets that outside draw here. And I think the connections have learned he's a 1-turn horse and not a 2-turn horse, is Quick Buck.
Toby, question for you. Number 8, Quick Buck takes the blinkers off. Has had 3 works since that comeback effort on May 5th. Have you seen any of those workouts? And do you recall if the blinkers were on or off for those workouts?
I couldn't guarantee you they've been off. I'm assuming they are. I have seen them. And he's been nice and relaxed. So let's say they were off.
And number 2, Devil Be Me. If you take a look at his comeback running line, you can see he beat a runner by the name of Andy Can You Hear Me. Andy Can You Hear Me is running on today's card in race number 9 as the morning line favorite. Race number 6 begins the 50-cent middle pick 4. That's right, on a 12-race card. We're offering a middle pick 4, so it begins in race number 6. And race 6 is for fillies and mares traveling 1 mile on the turf course. Maiden claimers, $62,500 is the claiming tag. Scratch the 3 leaves us with a field of 8. The morning line favorite, number 6, Lulu Lemon Drop from the Peter Miller barn, 5-2 on the morning line, ridden by Juan Hernandez. Talk to us about race 6, Toby.
Well, Tom, you asked me about watching 3-year-olds moving forward. It's true with all horses. They really either develop or they don't as they hit their 3, 4, 5-year-old year. And Picture of a Lady is a filly that has grown into her big frame. I think she was immature when she started. Now she's matured. She was actually entered and scratched here at the gate a couple of weeks ago. A very sharp workout since that event has happened. I think she's very much value in here at 5-1. And number 2, Candy on Top, who always tries. I believe can get underneath here in the exotics.
7-2 in race number 6. Number 7, Picture of a Lady, 5-1 on John White's morning line. Toby mentioned that Picture of a Lady was scratched. That was back on May 27th when she scratched because she was so extremely fractious in the gate. She was actually 4-1 come post time. They were ready to spring the gates, but it necessitated a scratch. Certainly now they protect her off the long layoff and don't enter her for the tag. You have to think that's a sign of optimism. Race number 7 begins our 20-cent rainbow pick 6, and you can see on the bottom of our screen, we've got a $1 million guaranteed payout. If you're the only winning ticket today, regardless of pool size, the jackpot single ticket carryover is $235,000, but that's a bit immaterial because if you're the only winning ticket in the pick 6 today, you're going to get $1 million, no questions asked, regardless of the pool size. And we kick it off in a stakes race. This is for the 2-year-old boys. The Phasic-Tipton Futurity going 5 furlongs on the main track. Scratch the 1, leaves us with a field of 5. The big hype horse on today's card is going to be interesting to hear track announcer Frank Miramati call his namesake. Is number 6 Miramati, a son of Into Mischief, who the owners paid in excess of $1 million for. I know you're a Russian communist spy and trying to beat this horse, Toby, but nevertheless, let's take a look at the workout for Miramati on June 5th. It's a team gate drill. He's in the yellow cap. He's in the lead already. He's a couple lengths up on a runner from the Bob Baffert barn by the name of Confucius. 58 and change kind of screams that this horse has ability. Give us your positive and negative reactions to the work.
Well, they're all positive. I mean, there's nothing whatsoever to feel any less confident about him off of this work. Now, the horse he's beating here, honestly, has been pretty slow all the way up until today when he worked. But forget about that. This horse did this actually showing speed and, more importantly, showing finish. And I didn't really think he had this kind of speed, honestly. He's a big, massive, big, heavy horse, and that's why they paid all the money for him, I'm sure. But look at him just draw clear here, and I'm sure we'll keep the camera on past this 5/8 marker because he's not done yet. He's just going to keep on going here like he doesn't even know the workout started. So, heck, I mean, this was impressive, and let's hope that he gets the clean break because the clean break will be more important than anything here today.
But he better have his running shoes on because there's another runner in here, a Calbred by the name of Refocus, the number 2 colt, a son of Pavel, who was very impressive, ran the fastest 4.5 furlong distance so far in terms of raw time so far at the meet. Beat a horse called Last Call London, who came back to win very impressively by open lengths last weekend, I should say. You also like Refocus quite a bit as well, Toby.
Well, the horse that he beat, Last Call London, just aired for Pete Miller, so the race was obviously moving up. It's not like he beat nothing in doing it with a ton of speed. That's going to be the key here. I think he'll be in front. Let's hope that our namesake horse runs him down in the stretch. It hopefully is one heck of a race. And Frank, multi-talented race announcer, his impersonation, I say it always and often, of the late Luke Kreitbach will always win my heart because I spent the summer at Churchill Downs, the last time that Luke ever called there, and that is priceless stuff. And if you ever need anybody to host or MC any event, I don't care how important it is, Frank is your man.
He sure is. And if you've never heard him called the Hasta La Vista many years back at Turf Paradise, Google Hasta La Vista Frank Miramati, and you'll be in store for a treat and tons of chuckles while he calls that race, which I believe lasts at least 3 minutes long. Race number 8 begins the 50-cent late pick 5. We're sprinting 6.5 furlongs in the turf course. This race is named in loving memory of Carlina Lefroy, who was the mother of Mark Lefroy. You might remember Mark being a regular correspondent on the Roger Stein Show. Our condolences to the entire Lefroy family. But race number 8 is an straight allowance race, non-winners of one other than. We've got a field of 9. 2 in here are trained by Phil D'Amato, but the morning line favorite, who had tons of trouble last time out, is number 6, Cherubic Factor from the Peter Urton barn, 5-2 on the morning line. Before you talk to us, Toby, one more workout to watch. This would be for Jack's six-pack back on June 4th. Jack's six-pack is on the inside, and take a look at who he is working with. He is working with another D'Amato runner who's the race 11 morning line favorite today. Klikish is the runner that's working on the outside of Jack's six-pack. This is a really good betting race. I know you like a horse who hasn't yet run in Southern California in the afternoons. Before we get to that selection, what did you think of this workout between two talented runners, Toby?
Well, the first thing is the final time and the distance. You don't see Phil D'Amato work horses 6 furlongs really too often. unless there's some kind of extra reason or purpose to do so. This work here, I love the fact that this is racehorse time. They are running all the way through this workout with good solid clips all the way, and neither one of them want to give an inch. They're both obviously thriving on running. You can see Ramon Vasquez on the outside there on Clickish just sitting still. And you could say the same thing about Jack Sixpack, just going to get a little light scrubbing there right at the end. So they're both within themselves. And you can see Jack Sixpack wins that race by a neck.
And Clickish is a 3-year-old filly. Jack Sixpack is a 4-year-old gelded son. We watched that workout. It was quite impressive, but you're looking in a different direction, Toby.
Well, because I look at Keeneland and I look at Kentucky, and that's my hobby. And this horse, Baj, I believe, might mean business here for John Sadler. He comes out of a race where there were 3 horses on the line to win that race. Graham Motion won the race because he got an unbelievable ride. This horse ran way too good to lose. I love the fact that the connections have brought him out here to Southern California. If we had his last work to show you, I think you'd understand why I like him to upset. At least I'm hoping so. So he'll be my top choice. And Jack Sixpack, who has just run, I mean, his last race, Tom, it was off the charts. He ran a gigantic half mile, and
look who he lost to.
It keeps going and going. The race was really phenomenal.
The Chosen Run. All he does is win races in bunches for trainer Eric Kruljak. Race number 9. We've got another full field of 10 here. Also, race 9 begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We're sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track for Calbred maiden special weights. Morning line favorite, the aforementioned number 5, the second-time starter. Andy, can you hear me from the Jeff Mullins barn? Jeff Mullins looks loaded for bear the later we get in this card, Toby. Talk to us about race 9.
Yeah, well, this horse deserves to be the favorite on many levels. His race was giant. He broke slowly from the 9 post. Then he winds up on the rail. So that tells you about the ground loss right there. He continued to finish up strongly despite the unideal trip. And the horse that ran 3rd, Big Bet Jaffin Safa, has already come back and won impressively for Carla Gaines. It's all here. In fact, the June 8th gate workout is really what won me over. Hector Barrios was in the saddle, and he showed a big turn of speed in the middle stages of that gate. So I got to go with him over Cowboy Mike, who I've talked about many times.
He's been a disappointment, to say the least.
He has, and you know what? I think he needs blinkers. But no blinkers.
Are you listening, Mr. Baffert?
I love that.
We got cowboy trainers,
Gotta
Cowboy
love that.
Mike and cowboy trainers.
Yeah, and training hosts here.
Cowboy Mike, I should say, have to fund a dream. So the breeding is certainly there for him to be a rock star.
Yes, indeed. And, you know, it's only because of this horse, believe it or not, why they even got Fun to Dream, because they wanted a colt to carry on the legacy of Mike Pagler. Cowboy Mike, they called him. He passed away unexpectedly, and that's why his wife has stayed in the breeding game.
Race number 10, we're back on the turf course. 1 mile is the distance. It's an allowance optional claiming race. Non-winners of 1 other than for Calbreds. 1 scratch. Scratch the 4 leaves us with a field of 8. Morning line favorite number 8, Irish Heatwave, who won the comeback sprinting, now goes 2 turns for trainer Mike Pipey. Talk to us about race 10.
Good betting race here. And so, you know, I always say if you have a race that looks competitive and like this one does, take a shot, go with a price. That's what I'm going to do here with Mobu, the number 9 horse here. Edwin Maldonado, I think, got to know him, learn a little bit about him last time out over the racetrack. He got rank. He lost a ton of ground and really moved at an unideal time and almost won the race anyway. So there's lots to like here coming back for knowing this horse will run a nice race. And, of course, I always root for my dear friend Dottie and Gordo whenever they run a horse. And this would be a nice one to win here at a big price. Irish Heatwave, the 8 horse, won that comeback race, won it well, and has worked well since. So maybe he'll come firing right back too.
Toby, we've talked a lot about utilizing Formulator, and I'll give you an example of how I utilize Formulator. Number 6, Stamp My Passport, came back on May 12th and won very impressively, going 2 turns on the turf course. Going into that race, you had a super workout for Stamp My Passport, which is one of the reasons why he got bet down to favoritism. Since that race, has he improved from a workout standpoint, or he's just kind of idled at this point?
I think he's idled. He had done all the work to get ready. Now he was ready, so he's just kept him happy, as they like to say. So, yeah, the workouts aren't going to be the tool, I think, for today's race.
And number 9, Mobu, although the connections paid $390,000, it's a classic example of how to manage a Calbred. They certainly ran through all their conditions, both on turf and the main track. Now he's in for the $40,000 claiming tag. They didn't quite get out on the horse, but if they had paid a little bit less, this is one ideal example, Toby, of how much money you can make owning a Calbred.
Yes, indeed. And by the way, I didn't even mention the race back at Del Mar on the turf. Another reason why I think this horse can upset on September 3rd. If you watch that race, he ran a winning race that day too.
Race number 11, we're going 5.5 furlongs in the main track for fillies and mares. It's an allowance optional claiming race, non-winners of 1 other than. 2 scratches. Scratch the 1 and 5 leaves us with a field of 7. Claquiche from the Phil D'Amato barn, who we just saw work with Jack Sixpack, is the 5-2 morning line favorite. You choosing her or you're looking elsewhere, Toby?
Well, I'm going to look elsewhere. I've got
even off that workout?
Yeah, because you got a horse that can work out like that in his sleep.
Okay, who is it?
I should say a mare, and her name is Pequena Tormenta, the number 7 horse in here. She can just gallop in those 59s. In fact, she worked 58 flat prior to her last win. And it's very rare that I have the comments down on a horse in any race that I have on her. She just galloped to the lead and galloped down the stretch. And it's very rare that that consummate ease with that speed, it's combined, makes you an 11-length winner. That's a rarity in itself. So I got to she's got that good outside draw to help her speed get over today. She should hopefully control the race. We watched Claquiche there, and obviously she'll run a winning race today, but I'm hoping that the 7 horse is just faster than she is today.
7 and 3 in race number 11. So says our seminar guest, Toby Terrell. Toby, one question for you on race 11 before we look at the nightcap, and that relates to number 2. Vita Lara, the invader from Chile, adding Lasix, hasn't been seen in the afternoon since late December, but been working steadily here at Santa Anita. Marcelo Polanco has done very well about the last year or so with some of these South American invaders. Any good comments or bad comments about Vita Lara?
Yeah, I think this filly is okay, and I think she will have a little bit of a career here. If you look at her running lines, she's got 1.25 mile races in there. I think that kind of tells the story. I don't see her as a 5.5 furlong horse. And
she's been running against the boys in Chile as well, so it'll be interesting to follow her career here in Southern California. We close out the marathon card in race number 12 at 6:30 p.m. Pacific time, coming back down the hillside turf course, just like we are in race number 1. It's an allowance race, non-winners of 1 other than. We've got a good field of 9. Number 3, running with the boys from the Jeff Mullins barn, is the 5-2 morning line choice, according to John White. How does Toby Terrell see the race?
Well, and running with the boys deserves to be the favorite. In fact, it's handicapping 101 right there. All you need to do is look at her turf record. I mean, that speaks for itself. 4 starts, 3 wins.
Keep it simple, right?
And 1 second. That's the beauty of the game. Sometimes it's that easy. However, again, maybe a good full field, competitive race. Let's take a shot. I like to always go for long shots in these kind of races. And who better than my good buddy, Vladimir Serin?
He's on a roll.
I heard so many of my acquaintances out here, what's wrong with Vladimir? What's going on with Vladimir? Well, you go to bed at night, you wake up, and now he's winning at 25%. That's what's wrong with him. He knows what he's doing. He's very witty, and he's very sharp, and he's made me laugh more than perhaps any trainer out here through the decades. But with all that said, this horse here, if you look at her 2 races down the hill, they speak volumes. And you want to talk about the formulator, this is a formulator play right here in big ways, because both races down the hill, you'll see reasons why she could have easily won or been right there. Last time out, she broke slowly. She got real rank, and she started running late, had a lot of run there late when the race was over, galloped out in front. You go back to her other race down the hill, and you had a similar scenario where she just got going a little too late. That kind of shows in the running line, but nonetheless, she could have won that race too. So a lot of reasons to believe that there could be some value here on the 2 horse. hot connections, Vladimir Serin and Kent DeSormo.
I'll be greedy, Toby. I'm going to ask you 2 more questions in the race, starting with number 1, Lady J. Lee Baracho, certainly red hot. His barn as well now switches over the leading rider, going from turf to a sprint. Have you seen Lady J work in the morning, and what type of chance do you give her in the race?
Well, she is racing fit, as they say, so she hasn't worked. She doesn't need to work since her last race. She's cutting back in distance. The big question is, can she win down the hill? She's 0 for 5 down the hill, so that'll be the J.J. Hernandez aboard. Obviously, there's some pizzazz to that at 6-1. And who was the other horse?
Oh, I didn't ask you yet, but I'm going to ask you. It's number 9, Give Me Mo Baby. She had blinkers 3 races back in August at Del Mar. She hit the winner's circle. She was a 3-year-old filly back then, running against older. We haven't seen her since October, but she does have a couple of works here at Santa Anita. Do you give her any sort of a look? Because I actually do.
Well, she's been off for, I think, 9 months. The workouts that I saw, there were only 2 of them here. They were both just maintenance type workouts. They didn't show me that she was cranked up. She just kind of had a 1-speed look about her. The other works, of course, all down at San Luis Rey. We're waiting for that clocker stand to be built. And that's a great way to end the day there, right there with that request again.
If you enjoyed Toby's selections and commentary today, make sure you go to casetherace.com. You'll get a sheet like this every day. If you purchase it, giving you all of his selections as well as some analysis and also workout insight and information that you won't find anywhere else. Toby, it's always a pleasure doing these seminars with you, partying in such great sorrow. We'll see each other at least, not professionally, but at least just hanging out in the paddock down at Del Mar. But we'll reconvene here in late September, and hopefully, God willing, we'll be able to do the seminars again at that point.
Everything you just said, I couldn't have said it any better.
Thanks to all of you for watching. Hope you enjoy a marvelous day here at the Great Race Place. We'll do it all again one more time tomorrow. 12 race card tomorrow, closing day Sunday, first post noon. We'll see you then.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem.